Hey, shalom, y'all. Welcome back. So, you've got the right wing saying that abortion is sacrifice to the god Molech. Now you have the left wing saying that the right's obsession with guns and gun rights is sacrificing our children to Molech, right? In the Old Testament, you had this god Molech, who the pagan religions used to sacrifice their children to, like literally take live children and kill them and put them on an altar for this god. So the right wing is obsessed with the abortion issue, right? Because they give you the issues to obsess about. And so they're obsessed with this, and they conflate killing a child in your own womb, a woman making that choice to abort her own child, is like sacrificing children to Molech. I disagree. It's not the same thing. It's literally not the same thing. They like to conflate stuff and like make it so because they want to push their agenda, but it's not the same thing. Aborting an unborn child and killing a live child is not the same thing. This is what happens with these issues when we get pulled on the left and right extremes that we can't think logically and with common sense. Okay? So with the left saying, I just heard an interview with, I think it was a priest, and they were interviewing a transgender guy. I don't know if it was CNN, and he was saying that he conflated the rights, the right wing's obsession with guns and worship of guns, and their understanding that they have a Second Amendment right to protect themselves. That's what our Constitution affords us and gives us. He says that's like sacrifice to Molech because all these children are dying. I'm sorry to laugh, there's nothing funny about children dying, of course, but just the logic. I mean, these tragedies happen, life is horrible, bad things happen. But guys, it's like we're still alive, and we can't let these tragedies push our minds into certain directions, which is what they're doing. It's so sad what's happening in this world, don't get me wrong. This world is really, really, really bad right now. You know what I'm saying? But don't let these tragedies and atrocities push you one way or the other, which is exactly what they want to do, both on the left and the right. Right? So I just think it's kind of funny that he's conflating those two. Like, okay, right? Because, they're children dying. But again, it's not the same thing. And that was a specific thing. And what's getting really kind of brushed over is, what about children that are sacrificed to Molech today? Because guess what, my friends? That's happening. And that's what nobody wants to talk about. So you got the left with the Me Too, right? With all these Hollywood actresses who got that got themselves into certain positions where, they were sexually, exploited. While I'm on the highway and there's a truck that's flipped upside down. Speaking of crazy things happening in this world, right? So we are definitely in the end times. And so the left with the Me Too movement, right? They're all focused on these grown-ass women who made decisions themselves, and then men took advantage of them, right? But they had their motives too. But we're not allowed to talk about like their part, just focus on the men. I'm not saying like the men were right in any shape or form. They're messed up. Me too. I'm for Me Too. That's fine. But what I'm pointing out is that there was a blind spot when the Me Too came out, when people started bringing up child sexual exploitation. The women who were all Me Too, and women's, protect women, they were silent about the children. Again, guys, when you go left or right, you miss the real issue. And then on the right, you had the obsession with Q, with this false, Trump is unearthing children from underground tunnels in Central Park. I mean, who believes this stuff? I mean, I believed it for a hot second, but then I was waiting for the footage of, give me some proof. I'm not going to just believe. By the way, the Q movement, it says trust the plan. They're just trying to get you to, what that translates as is trust the government. Q is making you trust the government. So I wouldn't trust that, right? And that's the right, where they want to push our mind right. So I want to tell you guys that our minds are being pushed to accept the mark of the beast. The Bible tells us that everyone, the whole world, will accept this mark. That means whether you're on the left or the right, or I guess in between, in a sense, the whole world basically is going to take the mark, except those who know the Word of God, who follow the commandments of God, and have faith in Jesus. So all these narratives are being pushed for your mind to accept the mark of the beast. That's what's going on. And I can see it so clearly on the left and the right, how this is pushing us in both directions to accept this mark. So I wanted to bring that message to you guys. All right. So again, the main issue with like the idea that like children used to be sacrificed to Molech, like I said, that still goes on today. There are groups in high places who get access to children and do this stuff, like kill live children. So why are we not talking about that? And that's a conspiracy theory. So you see what I'm saying? We miss the real issue when we go with the issues that they're giving us. Oh, care about me too, but don't care about the children that are being, right? I mean, look into what they call the satanic panic. Look into SRA, satanic ritual abuse. They call it a moral panic. They created a word to justify and explain away something that was really happening and that still happens today, that is on the rise, guys. This stuff really happens, and I think it's kind of disgusting to conflate something like abortion with that, you know? I just think it's wrong. I'm not judging people who think that. I get the logic. I used to think that, I'll be honest with you. I used to very much think like, oh, this is just sacrifice to Molech. And I know that, like, for example, Marilyn Manson took his girlfriend to the abortion clinic, and they actually made it literally a satanic ritual where they were offering their child to Satan. That's a satanic ritual, no doubt. But I don't think the average woman that decides to have an abortion, which is usually a pretty hard decision to make, I'm assuming, right? You know, maybe after you had a lot of them and it just becomes commonplace, and with like the leftist propaganda that like, oh, it's just like washing your hair, it's a woman's right to choose, you know, it's healthcare, all these different words that make us like okay with it. Again, I'm not for abortion. I think it's a pretty horrible thing, but I don't think that like the average woman who does that is sacrificing her child to Molech. They're not. They're making a hard decision. You know, I mean, I don't have kids right now because I don't want to bring children into this world. So there's different arguments about abortion, which I'd like to do another video on. And again, I'm not pro-abortion, but these are the issues they want us to focus and obsess on. And they make it so obvious that you go in the direction they want, right? They bring up this issue of abortion, which for any, like most Christians, I would say, they would say, oh, obviously I'm against abortion. So then obviously you're going to vote Republican. That's what it comes down to. That's why they're doing this. Why do you think they continually focus on the same subjects? All you ever hear, right, from the right is I'm going to end abortion. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that against abortion. And now the gay thing. Now that's the other thing. They're pushing us into obsessing about gay people. And you're a Christian, aren't you against gays? Aren't you against, you know, homosexual activity? It says in the Bible, blah, 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 blah. Again, it's this obsessive issue that they're giving us, that they want us to obsess with. Why? It's going to bring you to accept the mark of the beast. Mark of the beast, my friends, is going to be a solution to our problems. What they are telling us are our problems, they're going to give their solution. So if you break out of the left-right paradigm, the left-right mind control program, what you're going to start to see is, the problems that they're telling me are actually not even the problems. There's a totally different problem. So then when they offer you the solution to that problem, you're going to be like, it's like a math problem. Like if you get one decimal off, the whole thing is going to go off. Their problem is wrong. But once you see that, you're going to be like, oh no, I'm not going to accept that. Right? So that's the deal. It's basically like, we just got to get out of that thinking and get awakened to the truth. Because there is a war on right now for your mind. That's the name of the game. I mean, that's what Lucifer started back in the garden. Way back in the garden. It was a war for your mind. Eve was there. Satan started talking to her and getting in her head. That's what this thing is all about. You know, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and forces of spiritual darkness in high places. What does that mean, in high places? Some people believe that means like in the government. It could. I believe it means in the upper realms of the second heaven, right? That's where the demons, the angels, the good angels and the bad angels war. And that's happening every day. If you're in a certain area, there's a certain principality, meaning a certain demonic power or angelic power over that area. Even certain blocks have different powers. And you can feel that and see that, you know what I'm saying? You drive, you're in broad daylight, and you drive down the street feeling like, oh, this is feeling good, and then you drive down the street and you're like, whoa, it feels dark here. Nothing really changed, you know, of course, like the buildings change, things get like more dilapidated and stuff. But the idea is, or the truth behind it is that there's principalities, there's spiritual forces around everything we do, places we go, things we interact with, music we listen to, all this stuff. This person cannot drive behind me. Anyway. So, God bless you. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you have any suggestions on my videos, let me know. I'm trying to make them shorter, better. I just watched Mr. Beast. He said that in your first 100 videos, you're not going to get millions of views. But the more you do it, he said he didn't get any views for like his first 500 videos, and he thought that people didn't like him, but he was like, oh, actually it's because my video sucked. So anyway, I'm trying to do more videos, but I'm trying to do them quick, give you the points quick. I'm gonna start a TikTok. Bless you guys in the name of Messiah. Love y'all. Yeshua loves you, your Messiah loves you, your Lord God in heaven loves you. Jesus is God in the flesh. That's why we need to get with him. So I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Keep it real. 100.